Okay, so what we're looking at here is we're going to look through what compliance will look like next year and what our courses are going to look like in the 10 and 11 space. So here, if we have our course homepage, you'll notice that there are a couple of different pieces up the top here in our navigation bar, mainly the assessment and the compliance link. Let's have a look at those now. So under assessment, what we have is we have what would usually be our assessment schedule or our assessment plan. You'll need to fill this in with the information as required, including linking tasks at the top. And these links will actually be to your assignment in Canvas. They're not going to go elsewhere to Google Docs or to assessment notifications. Down here, if there are any syllabus content that is dictated to you from your NISA documents, you will need to fill this in. If these are not part of your syllabus, then they can be removed. So just be aware of that. And we will have these linked up, so they will be handy dandy and all ready to go. If I move now back to our compliance space, what you are going to notice here is we've got our scope and sequence. Okay, that can just be copy and pasted in, and it works across terms 1 to 4. We've got our reporting outcomes, and they used to be at the very bottom of our assessment plan. Keep in mind these include both our outcomes that come from our syllabus document and also our school-wide learning outcomes in their current form. If they do change, then we'll need to make those changes in here as well, but at the moment they are as they currently stand. We'll have diversity information in here, any links that go to our syllabus page, and then we will be doing our register in here as well. So we will no longer have a maintained register that sits in a Google Doc. It will sit inside of Canvas. And then obviously attached to this is the need for us to have our teaching program moved into this format here, because we're no longer going to have a teaching program sit externally in a Google Doc. So what do we need to do in order to make this part of Canvas hold the information we need for our teaching program? Well, that actually comes down to what we're going to put into each problem, our content release pages, our understanding the problem pages, and our assessment and evaluation pages. So let's have a look. Under our content release page, we now have this information under content, the content tab that needs to be more descriptive. So success criteria and learning outcomes, you may have heard or seen these before, but what's really important here are those outcomes and dot points from the syllabus. These need to be placed in this content release space so we know everything that's going to be covered in this problem. Okay, there's not a huge amount of change in the pre-learning or in the classwork space. So if you are retrofitting your current or copied courses from this year, just please make sure that you have this information very clearly labelled in your content tab of content release. Let's go back and have a look what sits in our understanding the problem space. The problem statement in our assessment and submission tab. Now, this information has been reworked here. It has been reworked such that we can replace our assessment notifications with what is sitting here. Okay, so please make sure you fill out everything here. And once again, if you are retrofitting, that is, if you have a current course that has been completely copied over, please make sure you paste this information into your tab called Assessment and Submission in your Understanding the Problem page for every problem that you have. There are no changes to the scaffolding or the extension tab as required. And the last place you'll notice changes in our problem-based learning space sits under the Assessment and Evaluation tab. So we always had a Feedback and Exemplar tab. There are some notes here that I would like you to read with regards to what we have explicit permission to post here and who we need to have that explicit permission from. So particularly if you're adding papers from NISA or other sources, whether we have copyright permission to paste samples up here, please be very careful about that. Then there's some information here about the assessment knowledge consolidation, which is that 50-minute period that we have in our timetable, and making sure we have resources built and placed in this tab in order for that lesson to be filled with really rigorous, relevant, and good quality classwork for our students. And then I do have the link for the 2026 student evaluations already done. Please make sure that you update that link in your courses for 2026. Now, just a reminder, with all this work in the compliance space, it may be a little bit confusing for you, but what we are looking to do here with all of these changes is we are looking to remove ourselves from having Google Documents storing our paperwork, which means in future rollovers in subsequent years, we're not going to be copying Google Docs. We're not going to needing to be copying department folders of resources so we have duplicates of duplicates of duplicates year on year. We also don't need to look at embedding documents. We're not going to look at having to then copy the link, making sure the students have the correct access, and then pasting those Google Doc links into our courses in the right space. We're removing all of that by doing this process. So we are looking to find efficiencies and looking to save ourselves some time and give our teachers some time back by doing this process. So that's the main driver here in making the changes you are seeing. But as always, if you have any questions, please make sure you speak to your teaching and learning advisor, speak to Alice Jones or myself, or speak to your head of department. Best of luck.